And as always, shout out to Santa Muerte. I love you, mommy. The most kind and real entity out there is my mommies. Like, I started working with Santa Muerte like officially a year ago, and my life like completely changed. The minute that I started walking with her, I became more sure of myself. It was definitely like an insecurity thing. I became more in tune spiritually, and those weren't my intentions. The only reason I devoted myself, or I started to devote myself to Santa Muerte, is because I feared death. And I didn't really understand why it was happening around me. So, I wanted to get closer to that energy so I can fully understand it. And I also thought that it sounds very terrible, but I thought that if I walked with death, like, it'll kind of like save me too. It's so bad to admit that out loud, but I was afraid of dying and I didn't want to die. So at first, that was like my initial spark of interest. But as time went on, I started realizing that the connection was a lot more deeper. I don't know how to explain it, but I just know that it was a very strong connection, and it just took off after that. So I started venerating her through me first. So it started with a meal. So I'll have a meal to her name. And then it went on to alcohol. So I found out that she really likes tequila. So whenever I would go out to drink, I would be like, Santa Muerte, this is for you. And take the shot and give that as an offering. Because I was so afraid of starting an altar. So after I started getting comfortable venerating her through me, that's when I started taking more initiative, and I then bought the statue and decided. But before that, it took a long time. Like, at first I thought I was gonna die by bringing her in, and then I was like, that's stupid. She showed me and guided me that that's not true. Which didn't make any sense. I contradicted myself in the beginning a lot because I was afraid of death, and then I thought that by bringing death into my life I would avoid dying, and then I went back and forth between afraid of dying and thinking that I'm gonna die because I brought her into my life. So, and that had a lot to do with like religious trauma as well. I was born into Catholicism, and it's fucking demonic if you sit here and even think about death. It's just, it was frowned upon in the Catholic community, and it's crazy because Santa Muerte's origins are Catholic. Like, of course, it goes way deeper than that, but her origins are Catholic because when the Spaniards came and took over, indigenous people had to hide their practices in order to stay alive. So that was the case, and it's so crazy. I'm Dominican, and of course the deities in the 21 Divisiones have called out to me, don't get me wrong, but that's a closed practice, and I'm not really okay with closed practices. It's not my thing. Because you do have to be initiated in these things. Well, a lot of people don't believe that, but I believe it because the elders have told me that it's something that you need to be initiated into. Like, this is not something that you could just pick up and do. So I have had like some form of connection with like the versions of death in the 21 divisions, and it just didn't feel right. I have a lot of trauma when it comes to Dominican voodoo, especially growing up. I thought that was demonic, and I thought that I was selling my soul the minute that I was working with any of those deities. And then with Santa Muerte, she made things so much comfortable for me. Like, I was even afraid to ask for permission because I didn't want to owe anything to any deities, which is why I was afraid as well. Like, I always heard stories of people promising things and then not following through. Like, that's my biggest fear. And even till today, I just recently promised her something. And of course, I followed through because I respect her and I love her. And that's my mama. But I was afraid. So, that, I went on a little side quest there. But all I wanted to say is that Santa Muerte is my mommy's. Like, she for, especially when I'm going through a lot. Sometimes I forget to change her water, and she sees, she knows. So she knows your heart, and she loves all her children. Like, I could feel her love, especially when I feel like I'm disconnecting from her, like I don't feel her around me. The minute that I realize and I say, oh my God, I don't feel Santa Muerte around me, it changes within an hour. Like, it's just like, it just shows me that she's always there with me, and it makes me feel so special. I had severe abandonment issues, and she helped me through that, especially with the relationship with my real mom. She helped me with that. She was the mother that I needed, and unfortunately, I don't blame my mom. She did the best she could, but she was there for me when nobody was there. She was the mother I needed. She guided me, and it felt really good to be loved unconditionally, and that's what she offered, and still offers me. Like, all the crazy shit I've done in my life, and with other deities, they do judge. They're very strict. They're not as lenient as she is, especially when she knows what you're going through. Now, if you're being lazy, I say her. If you're being lazy, then that's on you, and she will reprimand you. But if you're genuinely going through something and you can't follow through, especially when it involves money, if you're coming short with anything, or you're like, oh, I want to buy you flowers, but I can't because I don't have any money, she's so understanding, and that's what I love so much about her. Just don't promise anything that you can't keep. Don't promise. Don't do that. Like, and my practice with her changed so much when I started doing prayers. At first, I was like, fuck praying, because, the whole word itself is very low vibrational. Like, when you say I'm praying, like, what are, or pray over me, like, the fuck, are you after me or some shit? Like, are you trying to kill me? So I try to avoid using the word pray, but that's another religious trauma that I had to work through, that she helped me, because now I pray. Like, I pray to her. I sit here and I do my novenas, and I actually do my little Ave Marias, but it's not Ave Marias, it's Santa Muertes. So that was another religious trauma that I had to break. So again, wrapping it up, I love my mommies.